Hi guys, I'm here with Jo from Jigsaw Tax and Accounting. We've invited Jo down to give us some helpful tips as we head into the end of financial year season. All of our landlords are obviously starting to get themselves organised, and we thought it would be a great idea to invite Jo down to give us some helpful, handy hints. How are you, Jo?
Good, thanks, Heidi. How are you?
Good, thanks. Thanks so much for joining us today.
No problem.
Really appreciate your time.
Thanks for having me.
My pleasure. Jo, we're having a bit of a think about commonly asked questions, and quite often we get asked, what is negative gearing? And we don't seem to be able to explain it very well. So we thought we'd ask you to explain it for us.
Thank you. Yes,
Don't worry.
we get asked that question all the time as well. So it is something that a lot of people just don't understand. It gets a little bit overcomplicated. It sounds extremely complicated. It's really the most simple concept. So basically what it is it means that the income you're getting from your property is actually less than the expenses that you have on your property. So you're really making a loss, a small loss. There's a part of the tax law that says that if you are an investor and you have rental property, you are allowed to take that off against your other income. So let's take an example of someone who works for someone, gets salary and wages and earns effectively $80,000 a year. And they go and buy a rental property, and when they take their income less their expenses, there's a shortfall of $5,000.
Right.
What will happen is in their tax return, instead of being taxed on $80,000, they'll be taxed on $75,000. So they'll actually get a bit of a tax refund for that extra tax that they have paid on their normal income.
Right.
So it's really quite a simple concept, sounds very complicated. The one thing people do need to be aware of with negative gearing is it's the interest on your mortgage, not the repayments on your mortgage.
So that's a good trick, that one.
It is a good trick, because a lot of
Yeah.
people say, but cash flow wise, I'm not making any money on this property.
Yes.
It's the interest on your mortgage that's the important part. So
Yeah.
you may not be negatively geared if you, if your interest is not that high.
Right, okay.
And just a little tip for people at the moment. At the moment, interest rates are extremely low and rents are pretty high. So negative gearing is not really as effective as it used to be. We are finding a lot of people coming in surprised to find that they're either fairly neutral or not negatively geared. So, you should be proud that you're making money on your property. It's not necessarily that great a thing that you're losing money. You want to be making money.
Yeah, okay.
So if you have to pay a bit of tax, you have to pay a bit of tax.
So be it.
So be it.
Excellent. Well, thanks, Jo. I really appreciate you explaining that.
No problem.
I found that quite good and very helpful. So thanks, Jo. Appreciate you coming in.
No problem at all. Thanks.